if you go to Coinbase like right now, and set up a limit order to sell your Bitcoin at 60K, for example.
Right.
When that order completes, essentially someone trades against you, right? They take your Bitcoin, you take their USDC, for example, and then that USDC ends up back in, some account associated with you, right? It's not back on the book doing something else. So imagine if you could tell Coinbase, okay, rather than, giving me my USDC back, I want all of the USDC that I get for selling Bitcoin at this particular price to be recommitted back to the book to rebuy Bitcoin at 50 grand, for example. Right. And so it's like, take the capital that you're giving me that's just being sent to my account, and I want you to put it back into the book. And this is what Carbon does. So and rather than being able to set limit orders at just single prices, we have that range order like structure. So on the Coinbase side of things, if you're pretty confident that Bitcoin is going to get to 60K, then fine, right? You can say, I'm selling all of my Bitcoin at this price. But that's not how traders think, right? They say that, there's some probability that it's going to get to 60K. There's some probability it's going to get to 61K, 62K, and so on. And they'll striate these orders throughout that price range.
Absolutely.
Right. And, there might be a dozen or so of these things. And so with Carbon, you actually just decide the range, and it will set up an infinite number of orders through that range, right? It's continuous the same way that all bonding curves are continuous over their price ranges, but it's irreversible. So it's a bonding curve that only trades in one direction. And as those tokens are as you're collecting tokens from one side, so for example, the sale of Bitcoin for USDC, those USDCs appear in its own sibling bonding curve that has its own parameters that the user decides that are automatically rebuying or offering to rebuy Bitcoin as it pulls back. And so this allows you to set up legitimate automatic like channel trading strategies. And, in a sense, we are, I think, the first buy low, sell high protocol, which is like I said, it's a shocking realization to have after we're sort of so long in the tooth in DeFi right now. But this is really coming back to what I was saying several times in this conversation, which is I really think we're moving into our adolescence now, and this is a much more grown up way of thinking about DeFi.
And I happen to be incredibly sympathetic to this strategy because a lot of what I have a company that has a trading tools mostly with people in the centralized space. One of the things that's killed me is that we have a mean reversion indicator that's my favorite tool to use to trade with, but pairs will end up in a range for a long period of time. And I can automate the bot trades and automate the take profits, but I need to get to the point where I can identify that channel. And I'm assuming that at some point with an API from you guys, I could even do this programmatically, but be able to identify this channel and then make those trades. But there is literally nowhere I can set up to do that, right? I can't use the data and information I have in the decentralized world yet. So this actually solves a big problem. And in our community, we have 7,000 people in our community. This is kind of something that keeps them out of DeFi, right? Because they are traders and this is what they do. And right now, all they can do is go to Binance or Coinbase or wherever to at least get some semblance of this. This is far superior on a personal level. And I do think you're filling a really big hole.